Hello, everyone. I'm Jacob Vanderwerf. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Whitworth. I cover Northwest Washington, Southwest Washington, and Montana. So if you're from any of those areas, you probably received a few different emails from me. I've loved getting to know you a little bit and connecting with you, and I'm super pumped that you're coming to Whitworth. I mean, from wherever you're from, I'm super excited that you're coming to Whitworth. And hopefully through this time, you can learn a little more about what the different residence halls are like at Whitworth to learn a little bit about the culture of each one. And you can find the place that'll be right for you when you're on campus this fall. So, with that, I'm going to introduce I'm going to have a few different of our students introduce themselves. This is super exciting. We've got a few current students on who are going to share about their experience here. So, Isaac, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself first?
Yeah. Yeah, hello all. My name's Isaac. I'm a junior elementary ed major, and I'm also from Bellingham. It's quite a few of y'all. So,
Great. Thanks, Isaac. Hannah, you want to introduce yourself next?
Yeah, I'm Hannah. I'm gonna be a junior. I'm majoring in front end design, and I'm from the area, the Spokane area.
Tad, you want to go next?
Hey everyone, my name is Tad. I'm going to be a sophomore during the fall. I'm currently studying computer science, all the way from Zimbabwe, so I'm an international student. And I hope all of you guys join the Ice Cream Club, which I will be a vice president of. So please do join.
Awesome. Nina, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Nina. I'm also going to be a sophomore in the fall. I study poli-sci in Soch, and I'm from Brazil, so I'm also an international student.
Awesome. Thank you all. Um, so for this event, I'm gonna run through a little bit of information here about the different residence halls, and then we'll have the students kind of share some more information and kind of we'll do a little 3D tour action as well. So hopefully that'll allow you guys to know a little more about what's going on. All right, so when you come to Whitworth, what's provided, right? What's already in the residence hall? So for you, we're going to have an extra large twin mattress with the frame and the mattress provided. So you don't need to bring your own bed. Whitworth's got you there. You'll also have every residence hall will have a dresser, a desk, and a chair. You've got that guaranteed. So you know you'll always have a spot to do homework and a spot to hang out. Your room is going to be a great place to do those things. Additionally, you'll also have a closet of some sort that you'll be able to use. And of course, our housing director, Alan Jacob, he's always big on pack light, right? No one really cares what you're wearing, so you don't need to pack all 400 of your outfits, right? Just bring a few of your favorites to college because you're gonna not have endless space in your closet. And then finally, every residence hall also has laundry facilities. So we do have laundry in each residence hall, and you'll be able to utilize that while on campus too. Next, how do you actually select your residence hall, right? So I hope most of you have done this, but we have the housing preference form in your application portal, right? And to get to that, you just have to go to www.whitworth.edu/app status. And if you've already deposited and you've already hopefully been marking off some of your summer checklist items, one of those items is your housing preference form. And you can go in and edit that at any time, and it's going to keep your place in line so you won't fall back or anything. But yeah, if after this webinar you hear some more and you're like, oh, actually, Errand sounds amazing. I want to live in Errand. That's wonderful. You can go in, you can adjust that in this location. Yeah. So next steps for you guys. Oh, sorry. Next steps for you guys. Make sure you complete your housing preference form. Just get that done, knock it out, update it if you hear something today, like I mentioned. And you have until June 10th to do that. So it's open for editing until June 10th. And then we have a bunch of staff on our residence life team who will work hard to match students with another student to create a roommate pair. They're trying to find the best residence hall that'll maybe fit fit your vibe. So based on your housing preference form, we're going to try to fit you with a roommate in a residence hall, and that information will come out in mid-July. So be looking forward to that in the upcoming month or so. And then finally, you can go ahead and start packing, right? Or maybe if that's too early, if mid-July is too early to start packing, you can at least start thinking about it. You can get in contact with your future roommate. You can start planning out who's gonna get the couch, who's gonna bring maybe if you want to bring a TV, who's gonna bring that, who wants to bring an extra chair or something. So you can kind of start planning that out and working together on that. And then finally, move-in will be August 30th. So you can start looking forward to that. It's a Saturday, and then you'll start orientation, and then classes will start the Wednesday after that. So we've got a lot of, we'll keep sending you information about this process, keeping you in the loop for all those things. But move-in is August 30th. That's a big date. Keep that in mind. All right. If you still have questions, you can scan this QR code and it gives you more information about move-in and all those different things. You can also head to www.whitworth.edu/what-to-bring. They can kind of give you a list of like, what should I bring to campus? Hopefully we'll be able to give you a little more information on the webinar today, but there will be additional information that they'll kind of share and show you what can be helpful when you're coming on campus. And then of course, also on the admissions staff, we're super excited for you to be here. And we're here as a resource for you all summer, right? Shoot us a text, shoot us an email, call us. We'd love to be in touch to answer any questions you have. No question is stupid. No question is too repetitive. You're not bothering us. Just go ahead and ask, and we'd love to help you through any questions you have. All right. Hopefully that was a solid overview. I'm now going to share a different screen, and we're going to dive into the 3D tours of the different residence halls. All right. So to start off, we'll talk a little about Aaron. Isaac, does everything look okay on your screen? Can you see everything?
Yep, yeah, it looks great over here.
Okay, great. Isaac's going to share a little bit about Aaron.
Yeah, so I lived in Erin my first year at Whitworth. I absolutely loved it. It was a blast. I was up on the third floor, which is like the honors floor. So we had the guys on one side, girls on the other, and it was just such a cool experience to have a lot of the same people that you're in classes with, you're in your freshman seminar with, that you're also living across the hall from. So you felt like you really had like this instant kind of group that you knew right before you even stepped on campus. Um, that's a great perk of Erin if honors is something that you're looking into. It also has great lounge down there. Many nights were spent socializing there, playing pool, playing ping pong. Pretty decent sized kitchen too. Definitely cooked down there, baked a little bit. But I also love the location of Erin. It probably has the best location on campus, right in the heart of campus. It's like 2 steps from the hub. But it makes like a walk to Hawthorne not too far at all, a walk to Weyerhaeuser, not too far at all. It's a great location. You feel very centralized on campus, but and pretty spacious rooms too. One of the bigger dorms with one of the bigger rooms on campus. So yeah, it's a great place to live. Yeah, and this is what pretty typical room looks like. It does have the tile flooring, but personally, I mean, I just threw a rug down. Loved it there. That's a pretty common move. Really spacious wardrobes. I never had an issue trying to fit all of my things. I didn't have a roommate in my first semester. Felt like I had all the space in the world, and even when I had a roommate in spring, still felt like I had a ton of space. So super spacious rooms. The triples are massive as well. The singles are also super nice. So whatever you're looking for, Erin really has it and has it in great location. So
Awesome. Thanks, Isaac. Next, we're going to head to Baldwin Jenkins and talk a little bit about that. But before I move to Baldwin Jenkins, I'm so sorry, but I totally forgot to plug. If you guys have a question, go ahead and drop that in the Q&A function. If you that should be on your Zoom bar. If not, it's on press more and the Q&A will pop up. But drop a question there. We're going to circle back and answer any questions at the end. If you're having technical difficulties, hit us up in the chat. But yeah, please go ahead and drop questions in the Q&A. We'll get to those at the end and hopefully answer anything you guys are thinking of. But without further ado, Baldwin Jenkins.
Right. Bowdoin Jenkins is a place that has my heart. That's why I was this last whole year. It is a freshman or first year only dorm. So everyone's here, everyone that's here is having a fresh start. People don't really know each other. Everyone's a bit like confused, like, oh my God, okay, I'm in college. Like, what's that like? Everyone's looking to make a friend. So if you are into a fun place to be at, a place that you know that you will enjoy, like it's 9 p.m. and you're like, okay, like I'm done studying. Can I go talk to people? Can I find a place with people that are having fun? Well, that's BJ. BJ is always inviting, it's always welcoming. Uh, I think it's got the best vibe on campus. Everyone's really energetic, and you can make a whole lot of friends there. That's the one thing that I think everyone on campus can share. Like if you go to BJ, you're going to make at least one friend. Um, and yeah, this is the lounge area, which is right in the middle of the building. A lot of activities happen in here. This is where we have our prime times, which can look like watching TV, which can look like having a Nerf gun war, behind using the couches as barriers. Over there, you can see the ping pong table, which was used quite a lot, and the pool table right there. And during the winter, I'm from Zimbabwe, it's really warm. Well, the fireplace. That's where I spent most of my time. Because I was cold. But that's just BJ. It's really lovely. And this is what a typical BJ room looks like. I would say that it has the best space in terms of like studying area. So it has a lot of table length, and you can get anything and everything done there. You can put a computer, you can put a TV. Like my roommate and I had like a TV and a PlayStation, and then we had a monitor that had an Xbox, and it all fit in that space, and we still had a ton of space for studying. Um, and the wardrobe is pretty big. All the rooms in BJ are doubles, so we don't have triples or singles, but you have more than enough space. Like here, it just looks like it's squashed like this, but it really is actually a large space. So it's a larger space than it looks like. Yeah, and it's got tile flooring, so you're gonna need that rug for the winter, but it's pretty good spot.
Thanks, Tad. That's super helpful. Next, we'll check out Ballard. So here's the Ballard Lounge. Nina, take it away.
So yeah, Ballard is our all-female dorm, and it's right next to Macmillan, which is the all-male dorm. So we pretty much do everything together. I was in Ballard for my whole first year, and I really loved it. So yeah, like I said, we do pretty much everything together with Macmillan, so that's why we're called like BMAC. So we do like joint prime times. They have a tradition which is called milk and cookies. So every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, they bake cookies, and like just like a fun thing if you're like studying, or if like you just want to hang out, like you can always go to. Everyone is welcome to join. Um, Prime time in Ballard also we also do Nerf fights, and Macmillan has a whole closet of Nerfs, so that's something pretty common. They also like make bracelets, and there's like a bunch of different prime times, which is pretty cool. Ballard is a more small dorm in the sense of like the building. It's a very old building, but the rooms are pretty spacious. Um, so yeah, this is like what a typical Ballard dorm looks like. I didn't have a roommate my first year, so I had all the space to myself, and that felt like a lot of space, like a lot of space. A lot of rooms in Ballard, though, they don't have the closet. That you have like actually a walk-in closet, which was the one that I had, and that was pretty good, I would say. Um, and yeah, I would say that's about it about Ballard.
Thanks, Nina. We'll go to Max Lounge now, Macmillan Hall.
Yeah, so this is the lounge for Mac. Also in Mac, they do the haunted house every year, which it's like a very, very big deal on campus. like when I first walked in, I had no like it didn't look like Macmillan. It's so well planned. They spend so much time and energy doing that, and everybody's allowed to participate. Like if you want to be an actor, if you wanna help plan the design of how it's gonna look like, everybody's allowed to participate. So if you are into that, like I would say that Bella and Macmillan, they have this very I don't know, like it's very close, you know. So if you like this, if you want to get involved with things on campus, BMAC is definitely a good choice. Yeah, that's a room. Macmillan and Ballard, they have singles, doubles, and triples. But then again, like it's very spacious. Like this is one of the walk-in closets, like I was talking about. I have seen a lot of rooms in both dorms, and they are really, really big. So that's definitely something if you are looking for, this would be a good dorm.
And Nina, do you know why the rooms in Ballard and Macmillan are kind of unique, or so there's so much variation?
Oh yeah, so basically, Macmillan was the first building on campus. It was not originally a dorm. It was like classrooms and offices and stuff. So every room has basically its own design. Uh, so yeah, like this room looks like that. Other rooms are completely different. So it's like the oldest two buildings on campus. So it's pretty cool if you're into that, like you know, like history and sort of that thing. It's a good dorm.
Awesome, thanks. That's super helpful. Um, all right, next we're gonna head to Oliver Hall.
Yeah, so I lived in Oliver my second year at Whitworth, and very different than some of the other dorms. I would say almost feels like you're living in a hotel. It's so nice. It's maybe the bougiest of the dorms. It's a very nice experience. If you're looking for more of that like secluded life on campus, more like keeping to yourself, Oliver is one of those places that can definitely fulfill that. Now is it still social? Absolutely. The prime times always have plenty of people there. It's a very active dorm. The lounges always have people, but one of the easier places on campus, I would say, to kind of withdraw and maybe be by yourself, or maybe it's great for like a second year and upperclassmen because you already kind of have that established friend group, and so you want to get a group of your friends on the same hall or such. But I had a blast living in Oliver, super nice. It also has an elevator to go down to the laundry room and such in the basement. So if you're living on the third floor, you don't have to lug your laundry or your supplies down. Makes moving in and moving out very easy. Um, yeah, Oliver's a super, super nice place. And the windows in both the front and the back provide a bunch of great views out into the back 40 and then out into the center of campus. I know a lot of people that would either have devotionals in the morning or just doing homework, looking out. Very beautiful place to be on the back side of campus. So, and then the rooms with inside Oliver are also super nice. So kind of different than other dorms. I would say a lot of the other dorms are like big squares. Like Oliver's kind of a big rectangle, but like square footage wise, kind of comes out to be about the same. Nice carpet, has all like the amenities that are provided the same, but feels massive. Feels super big. Um, I lived with my roommate, and we always had plenty of room to wander and hang out in the middle of the room with all of our stuff along the sides. Really tall ceilings too, so we love to hang flags and posters. So we were able to hang tons of stuff on the ceilings and walls without cramping into our space at all. But yeah, no, a very, very fun place to live if you get a chance.
I think Isaac might have had the coolest room in all of Oliver last year. So if anyone
Yeah,
wants to ask him about that, pretty decked out for
it
sure.
was. Yeah.
All right. And finally, we'll talk about the village.
All right, the village. So the village is comprised of three buildings, so it's not just one building. Shalom, Tiki, and Akili. Um, the village is mostly comprised of single rooms, so Shalom and Tiki are like definitely single room only because even the size of the room, because it's a single room, um, they are not as big as the other rooms, but for one person, it's more than enough, most definitely more than enough. Um, so when it comes to Akili, which I think is kind of cool, is that Akili has three doubles. in it. So each floor has got 3 doubles, and because the village is known as a single only space, you might, if you apply to live there, you might get that room. And so you have the double for the price of one, which is really cool. It's also, but in all of these buildings, there's a lot of lounge space. They all have about 18 to 20 students. So it's a tight-knit community. People are always there prime times. People are always communicating. If someone has an issue, they're always like willing to talk about it. And the village is usually where people who are more shy, more people want to keep to themselves go to because they feel comfortable. But it is still like a lively community, especially because the village and BJ are like considered one. In many of the occasions, because they are mostly used by freshmen, so sometimes we had mixed prime times, which is why I know so much about the village, because we had mixed prime times. And so if you're still looking to make friends, but you want to keep to yourself sometimes, then the village is for you, because you're going to interact with a lot of freshmen. You're going to interact with the people, because the village is right next to Oliver as well. So if you go on the lawn and you're just like hanging out, well, you're gonna meet a lot of people. Yeah, and that's the village.
Thanks, Tad. And I'm so sorry, everyone. I did not forget, or I did forget, but I am now remembering Duval. So we'll quick have Hannah cover Duval.
Yeah, so I lived in Duval for the past 2 years, my first year and my second year. I stayed in the same room my second year as I got in my first year because it was a really great fit for me and I loved it. So this is the one of the lounges. We have this lounge with the kitchen, and then and this floor that we're seeing right now is the second floor, but it's actually the floor you walk in on. And then the fourth floor also has a kitchen and a lounge. The first floor has a game floor. So there's air hockey, pool, foosball, a ton of games. And then the third floor, which is the floor that I lived on, is completely a lounge. There's no kitchen. Duval has a lot of the same amenities that Oliver has. It has the high ceilings, it has the elevator. Its furniture is going to be the same as Oliver for the most part, when it comes to the dresser and the bed and the wardrobe. All of that's the same. It also is as well facing the back 40. So in the winter, I woke up every morning and got to see the snow on the trees. It was so beautiful. So that was super awesome. Duval's a little bit unique because it's a pod style dorm. So you're in a pod of 3 to 5 bedrooms, and most of those bedrooms are doubles. There's a couple singles and a couple triples, but for the most part, you'll have about 8 to 10-ish people in your dorm, in your pod, I mean. So in your pod, you have your own little mini lounge area that comes furnished with couches and a table. And then what's super unique about Duval is you have your own bathroom. It's the only dorm that you can be in besides Bopel that has a private bathroom. So I really liked that level of privacy that Duval offered. It also gives you an opportunity to create a super close community with the people in your pod. I see the question of which dorm has the best bathroom. Since I'm talking, I'll say Duval since it's private, but I'm a bit biased. because really it's as clean as you want to keep it. So most of them are super clean in Duval, but I think all the dorms have pretty great bathrooms. Duval is a slightly more extroverted Oliver, I'd say. So it's not quite as quiet as Oliver's gonna be, but it's still, if you want some seclusion, and you don't want to be totally extroverted all the time, like you would in a dorm like BJ, you have the opportunity to be in your own space, but then there is still a lot of events happening in the main space for everyone outside of your pod. We have some fun parties and activities throughout the school year. So, for example, every Halloween, we have Duval hosts a Halloween party, and each pod is its own theme. So, like this past year, or maybe it was, yeah, this past year, my pod was Candyland. And so everyone got to come into our pod's lounge and then see our decorations. It's kind of like adult trick-or-treating, but make it a party. So there's a lot of events like that at Duval where you have that community lounge as well as your own private pod lounge.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. That's a fun story. I love it. So now we're gonna transition into a little bit of Q&A time. We've got 2 questions in the Q&A and quite a few in the chat. So try if you can to put them in the Q&A. Just a little easier for us to manage. But we've got one question here. Maybe Tad, you can answer this the best. But do the beds in Baldwin Jenkin have to be bunked because of those desks on the side? Or how does that really work?
So when you walk in, like during the fall, you will notice that the beds are not bunked. Like they will not be bunked. They will be put strategically. So like the people work facilities put them on the sides like really well, and you have a lot of space in the middle. But then if you decide, hey, with your roommate, hey, we want to put a couch in there, we want to do this, that, and the other, then there's the opportunity for you guys to bunk it. But it is your decision to do that, and then the RAs and the ACs will help you out. But my roommate and I didn't bunk our beds. My roommate actually put a hammock under his bed, and that's where he would sleep in because he was just a fun and quirky person like that. But no, you don't have to bunk your beds.
Thanks, that's helpful. There's another question. Right here, this one maybe Hannah, you can answer best. There's 8 to 10 people in these pods, right, in Duval. So do they all share the same bathroom? And then how many showers and toilets in those bathrooms?
Yeah, I think I may have confused people a little bit with the bathrooms. Someone also asked if you have to clean them. Yes, Duval is the one dorm where you do have to clean your own bathroom, but you split it up by chore, so every person contributes in their own way. So it really doesn't feel like much. So for example, one of them is you just have to call when you're running out of toilet paper, call the RA and say, hey, can we get some more toilet paper? So it might seem daunting to clean your own bathroom, but it really is not, I promise. And then, yeah, it's those 8 to 10 people who share the bathroom with you. And the bathroom varies. So there's at least 2 showers, I believe, in every pod. Some of them do have 3, depending on how many bedrooms. So the pod that I was in had 4 bedrooms, so 8 girls, and there was 2 showers, 2 sinks, 2 toilets. There's some pods that have 3 if they're bigger, but I don't think any are smaller than that, if that answers your question.
Thanks, Hannah. Another question. I just want to know, like, what's the general bathroom and shower setup in the residence halls? I know it varies from hall to hall, but does anyone kind of have an overview they can run us through?
Yeah, I can run through. So I only know Aaron and Oliver, but they're pretty similar. I think in terms of sinks, there was four each in both, and so you're sharing it with just your hall, so not the entire floor, but it would be like who's ever in your hall, which will be probably more like 20, 22-ish people, but about four sinks, about four stalls, and then you can count on anywhere between like 4 to 6 showers, maybe three, but probably more in that 4 to 6 range. Um, and they kind of vary in, I would say, niceness. I would say Oliver's a little bit more nicer bathrooms just because it is a newer building. But they're all perfectly sufficient and definitely good. Definitely good.
Yeah, I can speak on the BJ setup. So we hopefully most of you guys will be because we're first years. Um, BJ it's communal bathroom style. So it's called Baldwin and Jenkins because there used to be two buildings, so they're on separate sides. So each floor on each side of the building has got at least 8 sinks because two for each hole because there's two holes on one in one area. So there's 8 sinks, there's 4 toilets, and then there's 4 showers. And you can be like, oh my God, that sounds like it's gonna be a disgusting place to live. No. So these amenities are cleaned every day by staff, which hopefully your RA will teach you to be very mindful and very respectful to them because they do us a great service. And they are really clean bathrooms. And your RA will try and make sure that you guys stay on top of it. So yeah.
Thanks, Tad. That's helpful. So yeah, most residence halls are the kind of shared community bathrooms. But then for like Duval, then it's kind of it's separated for each pod. All right, another question. Are there curfews? Is there like lights out or quiet time in the residence halls?
Well, I can answer that. So there's not like a curfew or like lights out. We do have quiet hours, which is established by the residents. So in the beginning of the year, the RAs, the ACs, they will set up a meeting with everyone. You know, everyone's allowed to come. And then together you decide like, oh, maybe during weekdays our quiet hour is gonna be from 10:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then on the weekends, it's gonna be from 11:30 to 10 a.m. But that depends on the hall, on the people that are living there. It's like a decision that's made together. But yeah, no curfews. Like, we're all adults, so you're allowed to get into your dorm whatever time you want. But yeah, just be mindful of like noise and stuff like that, especially during finals weeks. So stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks. Let me looking for another. Oh, do the desks have lamps?
I'll answer that. Yes. So I wish I had attended one of these before I came to college because I bought a desk lamp. But so underneath the desks, like if you were paying attention, you'd have noticed that the desk had like something that was over them, like an overhang, and people were placing things on top of that. And those are actually desk lamps, and they are really bright. Like you do not need any more lighting than that. My roommate and I would often just switch off the top light and use those for seeing because it kind of looks cool. But yes, they have lights. You do not have to worry about that.
Just gonna add something. It's not actually all the desks that come with lights. A lot of the rooms in Ballard, it's just like a normal desk. So I think that may be something you can like get into your room and see to buy. That's what I would say. I think it depends because some of the desks they are only the desk and the ones that have like the top part, I think those come with the lamps. So that's just something I would wait on once you have your dorm, once you come here. Yeah.
It's a good qualifier. It's good to know. All right, we've got another question more about lounges. So lounges, is prime times happening there, right? Are there other clubs happening there? maybe someone who could share a little more information about different clubs on campus and how to get involved with those. And then adding on to that, the piano part of the lounge, can you use the piano? So anyone want to talk about that's a lot of stuff. Anyone want to talk about that a little bit? A few people can talk about it.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about prime times and kind of what happens on in the lounges. So, um, in terms of prime time, so prime times are events that are put on by the RAs of the dorms every night. They're not mandatory activity or a required event, but it just provides the space for all residents of a dorm to be social. But those will occur primarily in like the first floor, the first floor lounge of the res hall. Um, Occasionally there will be like wandering prime time, so maybe they'll go to the UREC, play some pickleball. Maybe you might go frolfing, which is a popular thing on Whitworth. But so that'll be when the prime times occur. And then, but each floor has its own lounge. So that'll be typically where maybe just like random board games appear, maybe studying sessions of if like for group projects occur. So beyond just the first floor lounge, I'd say the lounges are very kind of open, just kind of whatever happens will like kind of occur there. And then the first floor lounges are not reserved for prime times, but from 8 to 10 every night will be specifically for prime times. And then in terms of the piano, so every dorm has a piano, at least kind of one main one in the lounge. And often the piano hours kind of abide by the quiet hours, which are set by the residence hall. Sometimes it might vary, like the piano goes like off, you could say like an hour earlier, and maybe starts like an hour later into the day. But yeah, the piano hours are definitely another thing the residents will vote on kind of in those community meetings at the start of the semesters.
Does anyone else want to share about that, or feel like Isaac covered it pretty well? Sweet. Well, I guess anyone want to share more about like getting involved with clubs on campus and how that kind of works?
Can talk about that. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's during orientation week. There's gonna be like a club fair in the loop. So basically, all the clubs are gonna put like a little table, and you're gonna see all the clubs that are available on campus. You're welcome to talk to them, see what they're all about. You can put your email so they can start sending you updates about their meetings or more things about them. We have like a variety of clubs. So like Ted said, there's the ice cream club, which I went to some meetings. It's pretty cool. But we have like astronomy club, there's psychology club, there's a bunch of clubs, and you're always welcome to create your own club, and you can get approved by your student government. So that's always an option if you don't find your interest or if you think something is missing. So usually clubs, it depends on the club and how many people and how they do things, but they will have either weekly meetings or maybe 2 times a week. It's a great way to make friends that have the same interest as you, I would say. So if you're worried about that, definitely go to the club, like the club fair on the first week, and you'll meet a lot of people, you'll see a lot of cool things.
Thanks, Nina. All right, next question. Do all the dorms have air conditioning?
That is a really good question. So most of the newer dorms do, that being I know Duval has a chant where they're literally like telling the whole world like, hey, we have air conditioning, so we're better than you. But the older ones don't. So I live in BJ and we didn't have air conditioning. Uh we had heaters for the winter, but everyone just brought a fan. So as Nina qualified, it's better to just come and then find out here. Because you might buy a fan and find out like you don't need it. But for BJ, most definitely get a fan. You're going to need it for the few 4 days, like the first few 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Baldwin Jenkins doesn't have air conditioning. Aaron doesn't have air conditioning, correct? And then is there all the rest do? Is that correct?
Bella and Macmillan also don't have air
Okay,
conditioning.
sure.
Yeah, I was under the impression it was only Bopel and Duval, maybe Oliver.
Oliver does too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And the good thing about I know I never had air conditioning in the residence hall I lived in college, but it's like most of the time you're here, it's fall slash winter slash early spring. There's only really a few weeks where you have to utilize that fan pretty hardcore, and but most of the time, especially in Spokane, overnight it really cools off. Gets pretty temperate, even chilly overnight. So you should be okay as long as, like Tad said, bring a fan. Um, Another question. Here's a good one. What is something, I'll have everyone go around. What is one thing you bought or brought that was really helpful for residence hall life? Hannah, you want to start us off?
Yes. Okay. I have like two that are kind of connected. Um, I got a electric teapot that was quite the hit. My friends and I used it both years. We made a lot of hot chocolate, a lot of tea in them. So I found that really beneficial as a tea drinker. Also, this I saw the water filter question. Um, I am very glad that I brought a water filter and that I had one. Um, so a lot of people don't, but that's something that I personally am very glad that I had and I brought to college.
Tad, you want to share next?
Um, yes. I brought the, how do I phrase this? Uh, it's okay. I forgot what the actual name of it is called, and I know that Jacob is gonna help me with the actual name. But the things that you use to carry your things to the bathroom.
Like the shower caddy
The
or
caddy,
what's the,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, the shower caddy. I'm pretty sure it's there on the list of things you need to bring. So bring it. Like that will that will help you so much because as we said, this is a shared space. So whether you want to keep your things in the bathrooms or you want to carry them back, it's always good to have it all packed together and to save you so much time instead of having to carry things one by one. So like, yeah, that was very important. And the fan. The fan.
Yeah, Hannah's also saying bring those shower shoes as well. So that's a good suggestion, both of you. All right, Nina, what would you say to bring?
Well, I don't know if everyone is like that, but I like to do my homework and study while I'm in my bed. So something that I bought that was really helpful was one of those pillows that have like the arms, you know? Like it's super comfortable. It was not that expensive, and honestly, I use it so much, and it made like studying in my room so much better because I didn't want to be like I don't know 2 hours sitting in a desk, but just being in my bed and then like having like the nice I don't know, it's like a really comfortable position. So that was really helpful for me. I still use it, so I would say that.
And finally, Isaac, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean they've killed it so far. I wouldn't disagree with anything, especially the shower caddy and the fan. I would definitely echo those. This isn't one that's such like a necessity, but I didn't have it my first year. I had it my second year. But a hutch for your desk, so kind of those things that we saw in BJ. So they're already built in. They have the desk lamp, but for a lot of those desks that don't, I loved having a hutch that I could like put over my desk, put a lot of little bobbleheads, just other like little trinkets and such. That I put my desk lamp underneath that, and that was something I really enjoyed having my second year.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That's some fun information. All right, another more straight up question. Can you bring a microwave?
Yeah, you can bring a microwave. You can't bring a toaster or an air fryer, I think is what it is. It has to be like enclosed. I don't exactly know what the rules are, but yes, to the microwave. no to toaster or oh, it's like a toaster oven. You can't have one of those either.
Yeah, you can also bring a Keurig. So I know a lot of people in BJ where they brought Keurigs and then they actually lined them up in the kitchen, which was funny, and they put stickers like make use of this whenever you want. So
Nice.
hopefully you guys do that too. And mini fridges, which is like we do have a fridge in the main kitchen area, but it's always good to have your food like on hand and make sure that no one takes it. If you do put something in the kitchen, make sure to label it, because if you don't label it, people assume that it's for the community, because a lot of the times the RA or the AC or just some noble person will just leave food around and anyone can have it. So if you want people not to have it, make sure to label it.
That's a good point, Tad. Someone asked a question similar to that. Like, there's only really that one major refrigerator, right? And it's in the kitchen. A lot of people bring mini fridges, but if you're storing stuff in the main fridge, label it, because it is a communal kitchen, right? So if you don't have a label on it, people are going to assume, hey, those cookies are free, and I'm going to have one. So definitely a mini fridge. I don't know about the rest of you. Did you guys all kind of bring mini fridges or use those in your room? Getting a lot of nods. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a college staple. And then one other one, and I don't know much about this, but when a student's considering one of these different residence halls, should they be considering their major as they're choosing a residence hall? Or I think most residence halls have like all different majors.
I actually would encourage that to not even be a thought in your head, because what's so beautiful about a residence hall is that it is everyone. So, like, you want to, of course, it's good to know people in your major, but it's also really good to know people outside of your major. And your residence hall is how you're going to make most of those friends outside of your major.
Yeah, that's an awesome point, Hannah.
Yeah, and one thing that you might want to take into consideration, which usually from your housing preference, housing will take into consideration, is like the type of person you are. So if you're an extrovert, BJ is where you find a lot of athletes. You also find them in Duval. And so if you like going out or if you're an athlete, these are like the two main dorms you want to be in, which is BJ and Duval. And housing will usually like put you in that spot. So I would just say trust housing, like just fill out the form as Jacob said at the beginning, and housing will do the rest because it's done wonders for, I think I can speak for all of us.
Yeah, and don't like when you do hear that when the results come out in July and they tell you where you are at and what who you're with, right? Don't stress too much if you're like, oh no, I'm in Baldwin Jenkins and I'm an introvert or something. We have plenty of people who've like they came in thinking like, oh, I'm an introvert, I don't know if I'll succeed here. Maybe like I'm an extrovert and I'm in this dorm that's like stereotypically quieter or whatever. Lots of people still thrive and succeed, meet a lot of friends, you make a lot of cool connections. I think like what Hannah said, these residence halls are going to be the places you build a lot of your most meaningful connections at Whitworth. Our president, Scott McQuilkin, always says life on Whitworth happens between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. in a residence hall, right? That's where you have these conversations and you make connections. It's a pretty cool space for sure. All right. One last question, and then or two last questions, but there's one. Is there space under the beds for storing stuff?
Yeah, so every bed frame it can like move up to 3 levels. So they have the lowest, the middle, and the top. So I know like a lot of people that bought mini fridges, they put it on the third, the highest one, so they can put the mini fridge underneath it and save space. If you have a lot of stuff, that's like always an option. I always kept mine in the middle one, and I could store like my suitcases and like boxes and stuff, so that was pretty helpful. And like the whole leveling the beds, you can always ask your RA for help, but it's like super easy. It's just like you pull, like it's a latch. It's very chill. So yeah.
Thanks. All right, final question here. And we're gonna go around for each person with this. But right now on this webinar, we've got quite a few students who are all going to be here in the fall, right? We've got quite a few people here who are going to be their future Pirates fall 2025. So Isaac, Hannah, Nina, and Tad, what is a piece of advice you'd give these incoming first years about living on campus? Isaac, you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I could think of one thing, especially the first week, just do it. Just do it all. Um, there's going to be so many opportunities to do so many things, whether it's prime times or just socializing and just like, even if it's not your normal thing, just go out of your comfort zone for that initial time. Because it's one of the coolest experiences is being a freshman in college and especially a freshman at Whitworth. Move-in week and tradition, it's so incredible. Participate as much as you can. Some of the close relationships I have are people that I met on move-in day, and that's just a wild concept, but it's so true. But even do like all the little things of like leaving your door open even when you're studying, like all these kind of things happen in college, and it's lovely and do it all. But yeah.
Nina, you want to share next?
Yeah, I was kind of going to say something similar, but basically, like, don't stay in your room. Like, go out, if it's a prime time, if it's like in the hallway, just like don't stay in your room, especially though that first month, the first 2 months. Like, the more you go out, the more you'll meet people and you'll find the right group. So even like, oh, I'm super tired. No, just like leave and try to find people, try to do stuff, because that's gonna be like the best time of your life. So definitely don't stay in your room.
Tad, what's your advice?
I would say relax. I think that's the biggest advice I can give. Just relax. It's everything will work out. Um, if you are think you are like if you're trying to talk to someone and you think, oh no, I'm gonna be embarrassed, like everyone's new, everyone's trying to make friends. So just relax, take it easy, take it slow. If you feel overwhelmed, just go to the side, just a few deep breaths. No one's judging you. I think like that's one of the biggest things. No one is judging you. No one's looking at you like you're crazy. Like everyone's fresh, everyone knows like we're all new here, we're all trying something new. So just relax. That's what I can say.
Thanks, Tad. Hannah, what's your advice?
Well, shoot, what I prepared was similar to what everyone else was kind of saying, but I was going to say show up to things, and that can be so exhausting. And like I understand that. Me personally, I have to recharge, and I understand that it is so exhausting, especially the first week when there's so many activities and events that you have to show up for. But continue showing up, and I would say especially that third, fourth, fifth week mark to continue showing up to things, because that's when people kind of start, crashing from this high that is the first week, 2 weeks of school. And that is when I think you're really given the best opportunity to connect with people, because you're not meeting a new face every single day, like you are at the beginning, but you are still given that opportunity of everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's also still trying to make friends, meet new people. So show up to things even a couple weeks down the road.
Awesome. Thank you all. Well, thank you all for coming and attending, and thank you to the panelists. That was super, super useful information. Thanks for the advice. That's awesome. We're all super excited for you, future Pirates. We're rooting for you. We're all here to help you. The admissions team is excited to walk with you along this summer. So again, if you heard some information today and you're really excited about it, and you want to change your residence hall, go ahead and just update your housing preference form, and that'll all be good to go then. Those updates are due by June 10th. If you have questions, please reach out. But thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.